There's no professional football team out here in Oklahoma City, which is where I'm from. So it's incredibly weird that I've always gravitated towards the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets to be my favorite teams in the NFL. It's even more weirder when you think about the history of them in the last 20 years. They haven't been very good. But right now, I'm sitting high because these two teams are each one of the best in the NFL. You got the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, both with winning records, both with 6 or more wins so far this season. And it's just an amazing accomplishment so far. Now, when these two teams got to face off against each other on Sunday, I couldn't lose in this one. I couldn't lose in this battle. Either way, I was going to get a win this week. Now, what I think is that what I'll take away from this is the Jets have exposed the Bills' biggest weakness. And the biggest weakness is the Bills relied too much on Josh Allen to create for this offense. And I say that because if Josh Allen isn't perfect, the Bills find themselves in close games with teams that they should blow out, with teams that they should beat handedly. But if Josh Allen isn't great, that just doesn't happen. Now, obviously, you can say that about any quarterback in the NFL, but there's some teams that get away with it because of their run game. And I think all of those teams are the Super Bowl contenders in the NFL this year. And so if we're going to hold the Bills to be that type of standard, they got to find another way to get Josh Allen some help on the offensive side. If Allen isn't perfect, they're stuck in close games. They're just stuck in close games. And I think that's because there's a predicament on the defensive side where they have so many guys out, so they can't really have a lot of mistakes from the offensive side if they want to win these games. But I think the Jets are a complete opposite of that, because along with the Jets exposing the Bills' biggest weakness, I think they also showed us that they're a force to be reckoned with, especially on the defensive side. These great quarterbacks in the NFL, you can look out through the history of what's been played. These great quarterbacks are able to overcome different obstacles throughout the season and are able to play at the highest of levels 98% of the time. 90% of the time, they can win you games on their own. But there's that 2% that happens throughout the NFL, especially in a season. There's that 2%, and that's usually when a great quarterback comes into contact with a defense that has a great defensive scheme or just great athletes, that type of style they haven't seen before. And I think the 2% for the Josh Allen and the Bills this year is the New York Jets. The New York Jets played incredibly well in this game, forcing turnovers and getting the Bills off the field. Now, we knew they wanted to improve their defense heading into this season. Obviously, when they brought in Sauce Gardner, the cornerback from Cincinnati that was one of the best in the country in college football, that's only helped that defense this year. The Bills are a team that rarely punts. And so we all knew that this would be a great matchup for this Jets defense to kind of gauge where they are in terms of how dominant they can really be. And with this performance, they proved that they are actually going to be here, because the Jets repeatedly got the Bills off the field, repeatedly, and they're one of the best defenses in the country now. Now, that's not just me saying that. You can check the stats. They're 5th in sacks with 26. They're 7th in yards given up with 312, and in the top half of the league, they're in the top half of the league in turnovers. All the defensive marksmanships they've had. It leads us to one thing. And that one thing is the Jets are 4-0 against teams that are above 500 this year. Now, granted, some of those games, some of those wins don't look as impressive now because of where the team's records are now in the NFL. But I think it's hard to just to give up on those wins because of where these teams are, because at the time, these teams were above 500. They were riding high. They were playing at their best because they were, winning record. There's always more to play with when your record is above 500. And so I think those wins still matter. And I think that stat still tells us something about the Jets. So many times this year, we've seen that having a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over and having a great defense combined with each other equals wins for your team. We've seen it with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. We've seen it with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. So many times we've seen that happen. So it's not a fluke at this point. And I think we're seeing that again with the Jets, because Zach Wilson, especially in this game, didn't turn the ball over, and he was accompanied by one of the best defenses in the league. And now with all that happened for you, even with everything that the Jets are facing on the offensive side, they were out their top running back in Breece Hall. They're without their top offensive lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker. They're without their top wide receiver in Corey Davis. They're without their top, 3 guys in very important positions on the offensive side. and they're still winning games. They're still winning games. And it's because you're not turning the ball over and you're playing great defense. And that's what's happening. Zach Wilson was able to lead the Jets to a game-winning field goal in this matchup and then pretty much just rely on their defense to win this game. And they were able to do it again. And it's because they're able to expose the weaknesses of their opponents. Thanks for watching this video. If you made it this far, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I have a podcast called Rip Jersey. Follow that, add it to your playlist. Listen to it wherever you can. Thanks for watching again. Peace.